Welcome to The Gorgeous Effect. I'm Julie Chanel, and with my co-founder, Cathy Olson, we're about to drop some serious tea on how to create funnels that not only look amazing, but actually convert into customers. It's time to show the world what you've got. Let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Gorgeous Effect. It's Julie and Cathy here, and today we're talking about the difficulty of tech. Are there some personalities that are just bad at tech? Why is tech so scary? We're going to kind of take psychology and tech and mush them together in this episode.
Yeah, like the fear of doing something, like psychologically, what is behind that? Is it a rational fear, irrational? Yeah, like I really wonder, are some people bad at tech? Because even I think I would identify as a person that's pretty good at tech, not like the best at tech, but I think I'm pretty good at it. But still, it scares me sometimes. There's things that I drag my feet on that I've been meaning to learn. So even me, so then I'm like, is that really a thing, or is it just because, like, what makes us so scared of it? Like, it's not going to bite us. Well, yet.
Not
The
yet,
tech that
right?
exists today, let's just start there. The tech that exists today, why is it freaking so many people out? Why is it so scary? Why do we drag our feet?
Well, one pattern I notice is when people sign up, we see this in FG funnels sometimes. People will sign up for FG funnels and they'll say, I'm excited and I'm scared, right? They'll identify like, okay, I'm nervous about this. And almost everyone, when they get into a high leverage platform like FG funnels, is overwhelmed. And I was thinking about this. I was like, we don't normalize this. We automatically get overwhelmed, and we probably do one of two things. If we're an internalizer, we're like, oh crap, I'm bad at tech. That's the overwhelm feeling sends that message to us. If we're an externalizer, we say, oh my God, this tech is too complicated, right? So we either blame the technology or we blame ourselves, all because we're surprised that we're overwhelmed. And I was thinking about this the other day. When you have a baby, everybody knows you're going to be overwhelmed. Like nobody goes into
Mm.
having a baby and is like, yeah, that's not going to be overwhelming. Everyone's like, no, it doesn't
And
matter
everyone
how,
knows it's hard.
yeah. Like it doesn't matter how many books you've read or how, if you have the crib and all the latest and greatest gadgets, you have your mother-in-law living with you, a night nurse, you're still overwhelmed. And we've normalized that. Having a baby is overwhelming. Same thing with moving. Moving is overwhelming. But somehow when we get into tech, we think overwhelm means I suck at tech or the tech sucks. And I was like, what if it's just overwhelming, like moving or having a baby? I don't know. That's an idea.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's almost like we're just supposed to be born knowing how to use tech. Like we're not supposed to learn it. But like, why are people so afraid of learning tech, but they're not afraid of learning other things? Like like, hey, I want to learn about farming. I want to learn about gardening. Why are we
I'm
not as scared
totally
of that?
overwhelmed and
And
scared
that's
about
hard.
farming.
But why are we not afraid of that hard? Right? Like there's lots of things we learn that we're like not afraid of, that we know we're getting into. We know it's going to take some time, but we're not scared of it. So what is scary? Like why is it so scary? Like why is tech something that is like we don't even want to start to learn it because we're so freaked out? You know what I mean? Like why are we
Yeah.
shutting down?
I mean, I think it's scary for some people and it's not for others. If we first normalize that it's going to be overwhelming, no matter what your personality, I think that will lower some of the fear because we'll stop making that fear mean something about our abilities or
Mm,
mean something about the tech and like, did we make the wrong choice? Because I think the meaning making we make makes everything worse. But if I'm thinking about like why tech is scary, maybe because when you run into a problem, you don't know who to call, you don't know how to fix it. There's a loss of control. And maybe in other skills, you maybe don't know how to do it, but you know who you can call or you know the path to get the solution. And tech maybe just feels scary. It like feels like the problems that you create are irreversible, something like that. I don't know. I don't tend to be scared of tech, so I'm having a hard
yeah.
time. Like I'm scared of raising sheep. I am so terrified that I'm gonna kill these sheep that I paid a pretty penny for. And so I'm like in all these like sheep Facebook groups, and now my feed is just full of like pictures of sheep vaginas and like what it looks like when a lamb comes out, you know? And I'm terrified, but I don't feel that way about tech. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think it's also like that has high stakes. Like you have lives
Yes.
at risk, right? Whereas with tech, you don't. And I started thinking about, okay, what am I afraid of? What else am I afraid of? To try to like get my brain out of the tech zone, right? Because I'm not afraid of tech because I know that there's so many tutorials. There's so many things that I don't think I wouldn't have help. But I also know it's not life or death. It's not like so I was trying to think of what's similar that I'm afraid of, like construction, right? There's so many things I want to do with my house, and I see people cutting wood and using nails and constructing things, and they're like, it's so easy. But I'm like, but I could lose a finger, or I could like break my house, like I could ruin something.
That feels legitimately
Yeah,
like
like there's an
scary. There's
actual
a
like
stake. There's something at
scary
stake.
thing. Yeah, so but this is definitely a thing. The reason it's not this is not like isolated. I hear this almost every single day of people being afraid of tech or saying I'm bad at tech. And so maybe if you're saying I'm bad at tech, maybe it is a past failure and you're bringing past stuff in when you didn't have the support. Like maybe you tried something and it failed or like you're saying your vision of what it was going to look like and be easy was not that.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, well, this is so and so said this was easy, that I just do this and that. It wasn't easy. So like, I'm not going to try again because I don't want to fail again, or right?
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think that there's an expectation piece, that if we could like change people's expectations about it, I think it would be less scary. Or if we created less pressure around it. I think that sometimes when people spend money on tech or
Mm.
they expect the tech to make them money and they put a lot of pressure on the tech to perform or get them the revenue they want. And then everything feels so much more catastrophic, so much more higher stakes. Whereas if you put people in like a sandbox situation where it's like no revenue is at stake, like it's money that you didn't need, you can kind of like lower the pressure and learn. I was thinking about, I think also tech can be like mind-numbingly frustrating
Mm.
if you don't understand like the why behind it. And I think I can relate to this with coding because I was trying to build, I don't know, something. I wasn't really coding, but I was like pretending. But I don't understand coding at all. Like I really don't. And I was just getting like the actual limitations of my intelligence were showing. And that was frustrating. And that feels kind of demoralizing. So maybe in tech, if you don't understand the basics of websites or funnels or automations, and you're just like trying to learn how to do things without the background information, you can feel like you're running up against the like limits of your actual intelligence, and that can feel kind of scary.
So it's vulnerable, right? Like if you feel there's a vulnerability that you feel like when you've tried something and you fail at it, or you don't knock it out of the park, or you don't do it right away. And I guess because you're good at most things that you just assume you're good at this
Yeah,
thing. And
maybe.
yeah, like but it's a vulnerable place to be, and then having to ask for help. Like I guess people don't love that, having like getting
Yeah,
stuck and
or if they
having.
don't have tons of money to ask for help or what,
Mhm.
they've added so much pressure to the situation that now they can't enjoy the micro wins because they expected it to do something so much bigger than what was realistic to expect in the first place.
So what do we do? What do we do as people who give people tech to like I don't know, like how do we hedge this? How do we make it easier for people, or not even easier because we know it's hard? Is it that we have to make sure people have a proper understanding of how difficult it's going to be, right? Or how like complicated, and or is it just the support that like if someone gets stuck, then we will be there, and it's okay to ask questions, and they're not bad, they're not like bad business owners because they don't understand how an automation works, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
what's the other side of it?
Well, I think it would go a long way to normalize that tech is difficult and overwhelming. I think if we normalize it and that people expect that, just like you expect it's going to hurt when you have a baby, you're going to be less surprised by it. Another thing is building new neural pathways in the brain is painful. It's kind of like
Mhm.
working out, like
Yeah.
nobody likes how it feels when you're lifting weights because it hurts. It hurts the brain to learn something new. It causes resistance,
Yeah.
and it's way easier to go down normal neural pathways that are really, really well paved. I suck at tech. I can't do this. Like versus like, no, let me like fire some synapses together and learn how to build this workflow. And I think if we normalized that, I think people would have more endurance rather than being
Mm.
like, oh, something's wrong with me or oh, something's wrong with the tool.
Yeah.
I think this is a game of expectations. I think there's also, of course, giving people support and giving them the background and the foundational knowledge and all of that. But if everybody understood this is overwhelming, this is going to hurt your brain, this is going to take some time, people might stick with it longer.
I do think one of the dangerous downsides, if people are not willing to stick with it, is what they do is they choose a very simple tool because it's simple, right? They choose the path of least resistance. So they'll use like a single use tool and buy that because it's like kind of drag and drop and simple and they can get through it. But the problem is it's probably not the best fit for them in the long term. It's like a short term gain versus long term gain of having like, obviously it's easier to probably have, Kit and Kajabi and all these like, ManyChat and like or Calendly, like it's probably easier to just throw all these tools out. And then, maybe it's not easier because you have to use Zapier to talk to each other, but like mentally it's like less resistance because they've all been built for one singular thing. But now we're paying double, quadruple, whatever. We have breakdowns. So it was like easier in the short term, but not as good for them in the long term because they're all the pieces aren't talking to each other. So it's kind of like maybe you have to keep your eye on the prize of like why it's worth it of like okay, I actually what do I end up wanting? I want a system that grows with me. I want to never have to do this again. I never want to have to migrate. Like that has to be more like a higher priority and so that you get over that like immediate uncomfortable feeling of learning all of because again like yeah, you get a spaceship but then you get a spaceship. So in case something happens on this earth and you need to take off, you have a spaceship, right? Versus like, the little golf cart that you're currently having, right? So it's like it's interesting that when we do hard things, we almost have to focus on the bigger picture in order to get through the muck that we have to get through to not choose the simple thing. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like credit card mentality. We buy things, we
Mm,
put it on a credit card. It's a short-term relief, and then it doesn't actually long-term make sense. Like financially, we end up paying a lot more in the long run. And if you have a tool that's like simple, you do get that dopamine hit, right? Because you haven't really had to learn that hard. You're getting things in motion, and people would say, well, isn't that important? Yes, it is important to get momentum. Absolutely. And I have said to people, if you are at the point in your business where you really need that short-term momentum, then you should be using Google Docs and PayPal invoices, right? You don't need a tool. Just use your Gmail account, make a Google Doc, send a PayPal invoice, right? And do that for now and keep it free. But the
yeah.
minute that you're like, no, I want this to be a business. I'm ready to build a business. I'm ready to, give this a good old-fashioned try here. Get the right tool. And I used an example. I was recording a podcast episode about my silly sheep farm. And I realized I was like, crap, we need bookkeeping, and I'm like remembering the story in Million Dollar Grit when I didn't get a bookkeeping software because I just wanted the path of least resistance. And then I
Yeah.
did spreadsheets and all this kind of stuff. And with the sheep farm, I was like, okay, well, I can't use spreadsheets because then I will not be following my own lesson. But I was tempted and I did look for cheap bookkeeping tools because I didn't want to like go through the whole QuickBooks thing because QuickBooks is like your best bet.
Yeah.
And I logged into this cheap tool and I looked at it and I was like, man, I'm going to regret this. I know I am. It's cheap. I'm going to regret this.
Like
And
every
I
step of the way, you're like, I should not be doing this
and I
right
should not be
now.
doing this. And I canceled it. And I said, I'm getting QuickBooks, right? This is
Yeah.
is a business. The minute I decide it's a business, I'm getting the forever tool. I'm never migrating off of
Right.
QuickBooks for my bookkeeping software. So why would I even think, But it was tempting and I had to stop
Mm.
myself. And I think that's the same thing for business. If you are ready to move off of Google Docs and PayPal invoices, you need to be in a high leverage platform like FG Funnels because you will pay more. You will spend all this time and energy using all these other tools. Then you'll have to relearn a new tool when you have to move. And it really, really doesn't make sense.
One of the things you just made me realize that is helping with that sense of overwhelm is almost ignoring on purpose, right? Your big superpower. And with the audience builder challenge. So we have something, if you guys don't know, inside of FG Funnels called the audience builder challenge, and it's like step by step, day by day. So it's like we'll tell people don't look at anything. Like go to sign up for audience builder challenge, go to day one. That's it. Don't look at anything else because like don't get over don't talk yourself out of it when you just start. It's going to be hard, that's fine. But we're not asking you to build Rome in a day. We're asking you day one audience builder challenge, There's homework, you watch a video, there's a worksheet, like and because two things. Number one, blinders on until you can kind of get past your overwhelm so you don't talk yourself out of it. And number two, that learning while doing is the best way to learn. I think if you hand someone a math book and you're like, "Here, learn it." They're like, "Oh my gosh, what?" But when they're doing daily assignments and daily practices and homework and whatever, that's how you learn it, right? You have to learn it by doing. And obviously, it has the other side effect of you're actually building an audience while you're doing it too. So you're getting all of the benefits. But I think that would be my advice for anybody, any kind of tech tool that you're looking at is to figure out little baby step way to get through it and actually build something. I guess, similarly to me, if I want to get into, being able to construct something in my house, I got to start with building like a simple box, right? Or like, I don't have to think about tearing down a wall and doing like, carpentry and trim and building a bookshelf, right? I could just build something really simple and start there and kind of and work my way up.
And I think the difference is you're building something simple in the forever tool versus going to a tool
Right.
that's a simple tool that is going to only do the simple tool. That's the difference. We're not saying get the big high leverage tool and do the big high leverage thing. We're saying get the right big thing, buy the right piece of land and then build a itty bitty little box on it, right? And know that you can always keep growing and expanding from there. That's the key difference. It's hard to do because we want the results. And again, this is where I think the pressure that we put on ourselves, right? I got to make $5,000 in 30 days. Well, then send out some PayPal invoices and email your list, right? Like email your contacts in your Gmail. Don't expect that your Forever Home software is going to net you 5 grand in 30 days. And I think with your analogy about the house, if I said to you, okay, here's your house, go build this little box for your cat, right? That's fine. But if I said, oh, here's your house, and by the way, you have to build, a second floor, otherwise the storm's going to come and knock you over, you would freeze, right? And I think that's what people are doing with tech.
100%. And so, yeah, I think it is normalizing that it is hard, but that it's worth it. And maybe even if you have to focus on whatever the goal is, like having the goal in mind. Here's another example. We have a pod sitting in front of our house still. If we've had it since 2023. So
Oh my
embarrassing.
gosh.
And I finally made a decision. It's gonna be gone. I want my driveway back. This is ridiculous. All my neighbors think I'm crazy. Like, and you know what? I was talking to Chad about it. It was like it's really an eyesore, but it's so easy to have it there and put things in it. And so basically chat was like burn the boats. Like take everything out of it and get rid of it, and that will make you get rid of it, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
I could sit here and think about, well, I really have to move this first, and then and with this is what's been stopping me since 2023 is its convenience. It's just sitting there, and I keep putting things in it. But I'm like, if I take everything out, I have to deal with all the stuff out. And if I get that thing picked up, I have to deal with it. So I have to burn the boats, make it like make sense, and just do it. So this is what I think you kind of need to like when you sign up for a tool like this, it's gonna call you out and be like, okay, you gotta like, let's go, let's do this thing. Let's not just let it sit there. But I think it's actually a good thing to get us moving and to get us like moving out of a something that's stopping us and kind of challenging ourselves and just getting it one step at a time. And so I think it's a good thing. And I think, but it's not going to be easy. We know it's not going to be easy. We don't promise it's an easy tool, but because it's your forever tool and your forever tools are never easy because they're built for future you.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Well, hopefully this has been helpful if you're someone who's afraid of tech or you think tech is scary. Hopefully we've normalized some of the feelings that come with tech. And as always, if there's a topic you want us to discuss, please hit us up in DMs at Funnel Gorgeous on Instagram. We love to talk about your specific questions, and we will talk to you soon.
Hey, gorgeous. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're thinking, okay, but what now? We've got you. So just for listening today, we want to give you a gift. Head over to learngorgeous.com. We're going to grab some free resources, free trainings, this month's specials, and everything you need to keep going. Until next time, make it gorgeous.